2 weeks ago, SFS Peru traveled all the way from Tarapoto to Cusco, a city high in the Peruvian Andes at 11,152 feet. But we didn't stay long. Straight to the road for a 4-hour journey to the Waikecha Cloud Forest Research Station. This 1,450-acre center sits 3,000 meters above sea level, serving as a buffer along the southern edge of Manu National Park. The research station is in a cloud forest. As moist air from the low Amazon rises, it cools to form clouds, which cover this region most of the time. All year round, the cloud forest stays fresh and humid, providing a great place for flora and fauna to flourish. We took advantage of this to observe the behavior of hummingbirds. We got to monitor plants and feeders to see what different types of hummingbirds prefer. Here's Isabel and I waiting to see what species we might see. We had so much fun. We even got to hear the great wisdom about plants from Apache, who described which and why certain plants grow in this ecosystem. This research station also monitors climate change and how species of plants and animals are moving north while the tree line stays where it is. Guess what? We even got the opportunity to walk on suspension bridges high in the cloud forest to learn about the center's research initiatives, like discovering how the clouds affect biodiversity. We had so much fun. And finally, we went to the Andean Bear Interpretation Center. This center brings local school communities in to learn about the ukuku, which means Andean bear in Quechua. At the center, we learned how the researchers analyze the poop of the bears to find out what plants they eat the most, so then they can plant those plants to support the bear. On our way to our next destination, we stopped in Pocartambo, Cusco. Pocartambo in Quechua means colorful tambo. During the Inca period, it was part of the Antisuyo, one of the 4 regions of the Inca Empire, and was important both militarily and administratively as a supply center for the military, and also as a transit area for merchandise. The merchandise included coca, gold, bird feathers, skins, exotic wood, fruits, and so much more. During this period, as well as after, the city was of great importance for trade between the Andes and the jungle. Today, Pocartambo hosts one of the biggest street parties in Peru, called Virgen del Carmen Festival, held each year in July. This festival brings people together from all over the world to celebrate. Next, we went to Manu National Park, specifically a grassland called Tres Cruces, located at 12,500 feet. The cloud forests can't get up here because grassland species are so competitive, which creates an obstacle for germinating seeds from the cloud forest ecosystem. But it also has other purposes. The most significant ancient Peruvian tradition is Pago a la Tierra, or offering to Mother Earth, a beautiful ceremony ritual of gratitude and reciprocity performed by Andean priests. A few hours before dawn, the Andean priests perform a pago at the Tres Cruces lookout, praising the sun god and Mother Earth. The purpose of this ancestral ceremony is to show gratitude for everything we have been receiving from Mother Nature and the sun. This ritual is strongly connected with the ancient Inca principle of Aini, which refers to the reciprocal concept of giving and receiving. The next day, we woke up bright and early to go to Parque de la Papa. The Potato Park's mission is to conserve the rich biodiversity of their Andean region and to preserve the cultural heritage and livelihoods of the indigenous communities who call the land home. It emphasizes fostering harmony between humans and nature. Since pre-Columbian times, a co-evolutionary relationship built around management of cultural resources with the mountain environment in the Sacred Valley has produced the Ayu mindset, whose main objective is the attainment of well-being, or sumat kase, defined as a positive relationship between humans and their social and natural environments. At Parque de la Papa, great focus is given to achieving equilibrium between one's natural and social surroundings and to maintaining reciprocity between all beings, including the earth. Then, we had time to explore the small town of Pisac. We had a lot of fun walking around town and exploring. When the Inca Empire conquered the area in the 15th century, they constructed a large complex on a mountain ridge overlooking where the current town is now located. Many scholars conclude that it was constructed by the Inca Emperor Pachacuti, no earlier than 1440. Pachacuti constructed it as a multi-purpose residence, citadel, observatory, and religious site. He hoped it would support his family and descendants for generations to come and provide a secluded royal retreat well away from Cusco. Funny enough, despite its size and proximity to Cusco, the Inca complex is not mentioned by any of the Spanish chroniclers. But finally, in the early 1530s, Francisco Pizarro and the Spanish conquerors destroyed the Pisac Inca complex. Next stop, Mandalay, Polylepis Forest. We got to hike in this private conservation area whose purpose is to achieve a reduction in deforestation levels and reduce the threat to existing biodiversity, particularly the polylepis trees, while also improving the living conditions of residents in the area. But the Mantenay website also lists an interesting caveat. It notes that the Mantenay area is very frequently visited by a large number of tourists, and that tourist agencies have obtained profit by offering tourist packages within the forest. The lack of proper management and a maintenance plan for the forest, as well as the tourist agency's complete ignorance of the conservation provisions in the forest's owners, have further increased levels of deterioration. Next up, we went to Ollantaytambo, a small town and important Incan archaeological site. During the Incan Empire, Ollantaytambo was the royal estate of Emperor Pachacuti, who conquered the region and built the town and a ceremonial center. It was used as a checkpoint to control access to the Sacred Valley. Evidence has been found of settlements of the Huari civilization as far back as 600 AD. At the time of the Spanish conquest of Peru, Ollantaytambo served as a stronghold for the leader of the Inca resistance. At 5 a.m. the next day, we all awoke, giddy with excitement, and hopped on a train to take us to Machu Picchu. Most modern archaeologists and historians agree that Machu Picchu was built by, yep, you guessed it, the Inca Emperor Pachacuti. Radiocarbon evidence shows that its construction dates back to the 15th century. Likely built as a refuge for elite members of Inca aristocracy, its strategic location was chosen with admirable success. Surrounded by steep cliffs and away from the sight of strangers in a tangled forest, Machu Picchu had the quality of having only one narrow entrance, so that only a few warriors were needed for defense in the event of a surprise attack. Machu Picchu was occupied by at least 3 generations of Incas, but was abandoned in a sudden and very mysterious decision, and then went undiscovered for centuries. The strongest hypothesis explains that since lower-class citizens didn't know the existence of Machu Picchu, and routes leading there were prohibited for anyone who was not part of elite Inca circle, knowledge of the grand city simply faded from historical memory over the years. While at Machu Picchu, we learned about the construction, we walked through the temple, and we saw which walls are still original. It was very cool, and our guide shared a lot of brilliant wisdom with us. On our final day in Cusco, we traveled to over 14,000 feet of elevation and learned about Lake Purey watershed services. Lake Purey supplies nearly half of Cusco's potable water, making it one of the most critical resources for the city, which is one of Peru's greatest tourism hubs. We learned about payment for ecosystem services schemes and talked with local community members about their lives and both the positive and negative effects this has had on them. The PES scheme was implemented in 2019, and the funds collected are used to improve hydrological services through the planting of trees and the creation of infiltration trenches, among so many other things, as well as bettering the lives of local communities. But it is far more complicated than that. And speaking with community members gave us a very unique perspective on the situation and the ways that Seta Cusco, the Cusco Water Company, as well as numerous NGOs, manipulated and take advantage of them. Now with the help of Marese, they are faring much, much better.
I'm having fun, guys. It's fun.
Say it one more time.
I'm having fun.
I'm not cold.
She's
And
not
I'm not
cold,
sick.
and I'm having fun.
And I'm not snoring.
Over one full week in Cusco, we learned a lot, we shared a lot of laughs, and we had so much fun. Until next time, Cusco.